Hello YouTube and welcome to my next video. Today we are taking a look into my Unchained Evil Eye deck profile. So today's deck is one of my absolute favorites, close behind Lunalight of course. That's why I really hope I managed to make it enjoyable for you guys as well. So first of all I explain the gimmicks of those two archetypes mixed together and then explain why they have a pretty decent synergy. So Unchained is all about destroying their own cards in order to special summon other Unchained monsters from their deck, since every card has this effect, including their spell and traps. While Evil Eye is an archetype which works with their quick spell Evil Eye of Selene. By having Selene equipped to an Evil Eye monster, they gain extra effects but also some kind of maintenance cost. These costs have quite the synergy with Unchained, and that's why I mixed those two archetypes together in one deck. So starting off with Abominable Unchained Soul. This card is the main deck monster of Unchained. You can special summon this guy when a card from you got destroyed, then you can discard one card to non-target destroy one card. This card is really important for the Unchained archetype since all the Unchained Link monsters need one Unchained Soul monster as their summoning condition. So if you want to use the links, you need either this card or the monster which comes next. Even if you don't go into the link, he's still a pretty good beatstick with 3000 attack points and an effect which allows him to get back in the end phase when he was destroyed during the turn. Next we have the one and only Unchained Soul of Disaster. We only play one copy of this good boy because you don't want this card in your hand. This effect allows you to once per turn target one face-up monster your opponent controls and perform a link summon with the targeted monster. It's a pretty good way to get rid of one of your opponent's monsters which isn't protected, and you get to use a free link material as well. He also has a floating effect which is a bit different from the other Unchained monsters, where he special summons an Unchained monster from the graveyard instead of the deck. Then we have 3 copies of Unchained Twins Aruha. They are probably the main playmaker in this deck since he's most likely the one to start all the combos. You can special summon this card by targeting one card you control and destroy it, so you most likely aim to destroy an Unchained card with this effect. If you do, the destroyed Unchained card will float into another Unchained monsters and you keep going. The main target would probably be Seraph to continue with destroying your own cards. The dog would be another option where you can link the opponent's monsters away and go into link 3 afterwards with Aruha. Following with the just mentioned Unchained Twin Seraph, which allows you to target one Unchained card in your graveyard and set it to your side of the field. Then if you activated this effect, you have to destroy one card you control, which will lead to another special summon of an Unchained monster from your deck if you destroyed an Unchained card, providing the possibility to go into a link monster afterwards. Then we have 3 copies of Unchained Twins Rikka. She has the effect to quick effect destroy one of your own cards. You normally use this effect to pop something in the enemy turn to special summon the Abominable Unchained Soul, so you can destroy one card in your opponent's turn, which might interrupt his place. It's also a good effect to combine with the Link 4 monster, where you get to destroy one card your opponent controls when a card on the field is destroyed per card effect. Finally, we are heading over to the Evil Eye engine, where we play 3 copies of Cercial, Watcher of the Evil Eye. He has the effect when he's normal summon you get to add one Evil Eye card from your deck, and there is quite the different options to go for. Most likely you add the field spell, which has the effect when it's activated to add one Evil Eye monster from the deck. With that effect you most likely search out Basilius, the familiar of the Evil Eye. But if you for example have the Cercial and the field spell already in hand, you can also go for Eye Re-Emergence or Evil Eye of Selene itself. Like mentioned, almost every Evil Eye monster also has an effect when equipped with Evil Eye of Selene. Cercial's effect allows you to quick effect destroy one special summon monster your opponent controls. Therefore he has to activate his mandatory maintenance cost in the next standby phase, which always triggers by the way. Even if you have no valid target, since it's a mandatory effect, it will always go through. Which says you have to destroy one card you control, which synergizes perfectly with Unchained since you don't lose any resources. Then we have 2 copies of Basilius, familiar of the Evil Eye. He can be special summoned if you control and face up Evil Eye monster. You then can activate its other effect, which allows you to mill one Evil Eye spell or trap card from your deck. You always want to mill Evil Eye of Gorgonio or Evil Eye of Selene itself to be able to search out Evil Eye of Selene. Gorgonio's effect allows you to banish itself and discard one Evil Eye monster to search one Evil Eye spell trap other than Gorgonio itself from your deck. And since Selene is the most important thing in Evil Eye, you always want to add that one. The discard cost of Gorgonio can also be used to your advantage if you have Catoplepus, familiar of the Evil Eye, in your hand. Since this card can be special summoned from the graveyard when you control an Evil Eye monster on board, it's easy to go into another link play when you discard that one with Gorgonio. So now we're finished with all the main deck monsters. Heading over to the spells where we play Elio of Darkness. This card is always nice to have, but you have to consider that not all your monsters are dark type. So only run this card if you really need the additional draw. Then we have 3 copies of Abomination's Prison. It's the searcher for any Unchained card, so it's always a free off. It also has the same effect when the set card is destroyed, you get to special summon an Unchained monster from your deck, which makes the card even better. But there's also one downside to it. It's not an Unchained card, so you can't set it on your field with the effect of Seraph, for example. You always have to keep that one in mind. Next we have the field spell Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. When this card is activated, you get to add 1 Evil Eye monster from your deck, which would normally be Cercial if you don't have him already in your hand. Otherwise, you most likely go for Basilius. It also has the effect when you receive battle or effect damage while Evil Eye of Selene is on the field, the opponent receives the same amount of damage you took. But the reason why this card is also kinda good in pair with Unchained is its floating effect. When this card is destroyed, you get to add 1 Evil Eye monster from your graveyard, so if you have no Unchained cards to pop for Aruha for example, this would be a good target as well, since the permanent effect of the field spell is kinda meh. Then we have the spell Evil Eye Re-Emergence, which allows you to special summon 1 Evil Eye token to your side of the field, or if you control Evil Eye of Selene, you can special summon up to 2 tokens instead, which helps pretty good for going into link climbs, since the Unchained link monsters only need 1 Unchained soul monster as summoning conditions, the other monsters can be also those tokens. So this card's use is its potential for the link spam and as tribute fodder for Evil Eye of Selene, since Selene needs to banish 1 spell or trap to get back on the field. Next we have the just mentioned Evil Eye of Selene, which the whole Evil Eye archetype plays around. Its effect is that you can only equip this card to an Evil Eye monster. That monster receives battle and card effect protection and also cannot be targeted for other card effects. So it basically protects from everything except from non-target shuffle and banish. Also, every time you use the equipped monster's effect or activate another Evil Eye spell or trap effect, you pay 500 life points to give the equipped monster 500 attack points permanently. So you burn yourself to have a pretty well protected beatstick. When Selene is in the graveyard, which will probably happen quite often, because it's easier to get rid of Selene than the equipped monster itself, you can banish 1 Evil Eye spell and pay 1000 life points to set it back to your side of the field. The counterpart of Selene is Evil Eye of Gorgonaio. Its effect allows you to treat Gorgonaio as Selene, so all Evil Eye effects can trigger even without the real Selene on board. The other effect gives the equipped monster's attack points equal to the difference of both players' life points. Since you lower your life points quite a lot with the effect of Selene, this card is the perfect counterpart to get an even stronger boy on the board. Having a monster equipped with Selene and Gorgonaio, every time you use its effect it gets 1000 attack points, which is quite a lot. And if you wonder why you get 1000, you pay 500 for Selene, and then the difference between your life points and the opponent's one differ by 500, so it gets another 500 attack points. Then we head over to the trap cards, starting off with Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. Its effect allows you to special summon 1 Unchained monster from your hand or graveyard. Always good to have, and of course it has the float effect as well. The next trap we play would be the Escape of the Unchained, which allows you to target 1 Unchained monster you control and 1 card on the field and destroy both, which is a pretty decent effect since you don't lose anything if you destroy an Unchained monster. In general, the Unchained traps are incredible since both their activator effects and their float effects are pretty good. So if your opponent decides to let them be, you can do good combos with them, and if he decides to pop them, you get a free special summon from your deck. Last, we have an Evil Eye counter trap with the name Evil Eye Retribution. Its effect allows you to negate a spell trap card when an Evil Eye monster is on the field. If you control Selene as well, this effect cannot be negated, so your opponent can't chain any other counter traps on top of the activation, which makes it probably the card with the highest spell speed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Next we take a look into the extra deck, starting off with 3 copies of Unchained Soul of Rage, which allows you to quick effect link summon with an opponent monster during his main phase. By doing that, you only link summon with Rage and the targeted monster. If the opponent monster happens to be a link monster as well, you can use those ratings to go into even a higher link monster, which is quite decent. So having this card and probably Cercial out is quite good to interrupt your opponent's plays during his turn. It also has a float effect, otherwise it wouldn't be an Unchained monster, which lets you add 1 Fiend monster from your graveyard back to your hand. So you can actually get back Cercial or any other Evil Eye monster as well, not only the Unchained monster, since those are Fiend types as well. Then we have the Link 2 monster from Evil Eye, Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye. She gets 100 attack points for every Evil Eye card in the graveyard with different names. Also, when she's equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, you can quick effect target 1 effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effect. So it's basically an infinite impermanence as a monster effect. Its maintenance effect, where she has to destroy 1 monster she points to, can be used to destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, if it happens to be in that zone, or to pop 1 of your Unchained monsters to trigger their effects. Then we have the Link 3, Unchained Soul of Anguish. which has the same effect as the main deck dog. You can target one monster your opponent controls and perform a link summon with it, which will always be into the link 4 Unchained Abomination. This floating effect is the same as the link 2 monster, where you get to add one fiend monster from your graveyard to the hand. We also play one copy of Topologic Trisbaena as an alternative for a link 3 Unchained monster, since you cannot use its effect in the opponent's turn. Trisbaena allows you, when a monster is special summoned, to zone discard points to banish as many of those special summon monsters and also as many spells and traps as possible to inflict 500 damage for each card banished to your opponent. This monster takes out one of your opponent's main monster zones, since it would be kinda stupid to play something in that zone, so it's actually quite decent to play the card in the opponent's turn using the effect of the link 2. Next we have the link 3 Cerseal, Ruler of the Evil Eye, which can attack twice if you use the monster with 2600 attack points for its summoning, which would be the normal Cerseal activating the effect of Selene twice or Gorgon activating it once. He has the effect, when equipped with Selene itself, you can quick effect destroy one card your opponent controls. His maintenance effect is to negate the effect of one monster it points to, which wouldn't be terrible even if you have to target one of your Unchained monsters, because all of the Unchained monsters' effects trigger in the graveyard anyways. We also play one copy of Topologic Ceroboros, since it's the only alternative for Abomination, at least for me. You can also play one of the Boral Link 4s or even Exocode Talker, since they are all dark types as well, but you have to keep in mind those are kinda pricey and I don't have the budget for it. So if you do have the budget, you can go for Exocode and those Boral Links as well. But you always have to keep in mind that you are probably locked into Fiends because of the Unchained monsters effect anyways, so you might not play those cards too often. Ceroboros has the effect that he gains 200 attack points for every card that is banished. If another monster special summon to a zone a link monster points to, it doesn't have to be specific his zone, you can banish all cards on the field including himself. He then returns in the next standby phase, having a huge attack boost since all the cards that are banished add to his attack points. Then we also play one copy of Nightmare Phoenix and Unicorn. It's kinda self-explaining why. Also, those monsters are Fiend type, so you can also play them even though you're locked into Fiends because of the Unchained effect. At last, we play two copies of Unchained Abomination. To simply explain this effect, if something goes boom, you can make it go boom even more. If a card is destroyed by battle, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. If a card is destroyed by card effect, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. If you go into the end phase, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. Pretty good in an Unchained deck. Smile. So that was my Unchained Evil Eye deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed it and be hyped about some other deck profiles in the future. Since I'm using my IRL decks for its format, there's currently a limit of how much and which ones I can actually do. I listed all of my decks in the video description, so let me know in the comments below what you want to see next. Next you're going to see some gameplay of the deck and at last the full deck list again showing in EduPro. See you in the next YouTube video and thank you so much for the recent support.